think about grazing. We sort of graze all day, just like you said. We have pie for breakfast. We do what we want.
Who cares?
We go in and out of the refrigerator. But if we can minimize that grazing and sort of have very defined meals and snacks, that really helps because it gives, excuse me, it gives the body a chance to digest its food. And then it also gives our glucose, our blood sugar levels, a chance to normalize. The other thing to think about is protein. Try to make sure you increase your protein intake. This is especially important as you get older. Protein not only boosts metabolism, it promotes a sense of fullness, and it can be a great asset with weight management. Remember to drink plenty of water, and then mindful eating. When we sit down to this sumptuous meal, try to not be so distracted. Think about what you're doing. Chew slowly, chew carefully, drink water. Give yourself a chance to feel the signals of fullness, and then you can stop eating.
That's my thing. I just say, you know what, I could eat a little bit more. Now, a habit that I get into that I'm sure is not the healthiest, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, is, okay, so I'm going to have this big holiday party at work, let's say. I'm not gonna eat all day. Save some room. That's my logic. You know, kind of just save the calories for later on. Not so healthy to do that, right? You shouldn't probably do that.
You know, when we talk about skipping meals, there are two different schools of thought on that. And so part of skipping meals is by the time you get to the main meal, you may overindulge. You're so hungry. And so sometimes we start to think about whether intermittent fasting is a better way to think about it, because it gives you a window of time to eat such that you can eat maybe a small meal before the big meal, hopefully a meal that's higher in protein. As we get to the holidays, the holiday meals are really high in carbs and kind of
my favorite food group
on protein. That's right. But if you can increase your protein intake and then get on to that heavier meal, then it's not so much of an overindulgence. You're just not feeling famished by the time that you got there.
Yeah, and then you overeat. It's so true. It's easy to overeat. Now, there's also this other side to this conversation where people say, you know, this diet culture is so, it can be very toxic, right, to people. When it comes to this time of year, there are people out there that get a lot of anxiety around food. What can we do before and after that can kind of help us set us up for success for the holiday season?
You know, that is a question that is difficult to answer when we're talking about all of our families coming together, right? It's not necessarily a period of low stress. It certainly can be high stress. It's difficult to get good sleep. It's difficult to avoid alcohol because we're also celebrating. But these are all things that we need to think about, right? How do we reduce our stress? How do we get good sleep? How do we decrease our intake of alcohol? Think about things as well. How can you continue to exercise? Maybe you can just walk. Maybe you can offer to walk the dog. Even things like grabbing your little cousins or little kids and swinging them up in the air. You know, be active. Dance at your Thanksgiving
do the wobble.
event.
Absolutely.
Do the wobble. All of that counts. Burn energy, and make certain that you drink water. These are all things that we can do to contain it.
All right, so if we go a little bit overboard during the holidays, how can we get back on track and really reset afterwards?
So we will all go overboard at the holidays. And the weight gain is not so much, you know, the weight gain really is all of the salt that we've taken and all of the water that we're gaining and all of the sugar. And so if you can reset yourself again by going back to a normal diet in those next 2 or 3 days, you'll see a lot of that start to diurese off of you. Now, the heavier you are, the more likely you are to have gained even more weight. And the issue is not it's always harder, and isn't that how life is, right? And so the issue is not really how much you gain at the holidays. The problem is we don't tend to completely lose it, or also we continue those eating habits into the new year, and it takes us a while to dial them back because it's so sumptuous and it's so good, and we've got all the holiday parties. It's not just Thanksgiving, it's all the holiday parties that are coming for the next 5 or 6 or 7 weeks. So it's not just this one meal. This kind of kicks it off. And then away we go.
Away we go. Especially if you're hosting, I graze and I eat while I'm cooking. It's a lot. But all right, Dr. Morgan, thank you so much. As always, one of our Healthy Morning contributors. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, you too.